guys. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. This is Maslan Abbas. I am CEO and co-founder of Favoriot. Today we have a session, what we call an interview, a short interview with some of the prominent speakers, especially in the area of smart cities for our Malaysia's smart city, my ICSC. So with me, I have a guest also from my company. His name is Dr. Gopi. Hi, Dr. Gopi.
Hi, Doc.
Okay, maybe for a start, maybe you would like to introduce yourself first.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Doc. Actually, it's great to be here just to share my knowledge about smart cities and so on. Just a bit of background about myself, specifically in this Favoriot. Now, I'm the CTO and co-founder for Favoriot. I've been with Dr. Maslan, not so sure how long, maybe more than a decade for now. So on top of my role as CTO in Favoriot, which we do IoT solutions and so on, I'm also championing the Internet of Things and Smart Sustainable Cities working group under Malaysian Technical Standard Forum, Berhad, where we actually look into the standards that is required for IoT as well as smart sustainable cities. And also, I'm currently the reference panel chairman for NTSIB as well. So it's been a long journey for Malaysian smart city standardization activity. A lot of things that need to be done as well for Favoriot as well. So we have been promoting and trying to introduce smart city solutions to be adopted as many cities as possible.
Okay, it's good that you mentioned about standardization. It seems that the growth in smart cities and this topic had been becoming hot again for a couple of years, especially after during the COVID-19, and people have been working from home and all that. And we see there's a lot of this initiative from different municipals building their plans and also executing some of the initiative in building smart cities. But the advanced technologies, the technology that we have seen now is so vast and very rapidly with different kind of infrastructure that coming in, from hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure. It becoming more complex, especially for people who don't understand how to make sure that all of these components in the smart city works together. So it seems that the area that you will be working on, standardization, is very important. Maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit more why smart city standard is very key in developing smart cities.
Yes, Doc. You're right. I think we have seen that many smart cities has been introduced lately, especially here in Malaysia. We have seen, the earliest one, Cyber Jaya, we have Putrajaya smart cities, and now we have seen, even Johor has so many northern state and so on. Now, one of the main aspect when we want to implement is that the standards. Now, why standards are important? Many people think that, standards restricts the development of or implementation of technology, but actually, the purpose of standards is to support the widespread adoption of common approaches to the implementation of smart city products or services, right? So what is the purpose of it is to facilitate rapid development. We have seen that there are many, standalone solutions, there are many proprietary solutions, and all uses different kinds of system. Now, if you do not have a common standard, it will actually impede in terms of integrating the different data sets that we are trying to collect, and also to ensure that the standard that we have, right, it will be a systematic system for easy data integration for various solutions. And of course, there are various types of standards out there. There are from ITU standard, there are ISO standard, there are PSI standards, all related to smart cities. But we can actually pick and choose those standards. The main idea is to ensure that everybody uses the common language in terms of implementing. And it will actually benefit later on in terms of data correlation, data integration, and it can provide many other solutions in the long run. Yeah, so that's the purpose of actually the standards.
Just a follow up to that question in Malaysia in terms of standardization of smart cities. How far is it from a real Malaysian smart city standards have been being fulfilled?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me from MTSFB's standpoint, we actually creating new standards for smart cities. But in terms of adoption, I would not say there are many. It's been widely adopted yet. One of the common standard which was developed under the Malaysian standard is on the indicator, smart city indicators, right? So we know that there are many smart cities out here in Malaysia or in worldwide. But how do we know that the smartness of the city? How to gauge whether they are really a smart city, in which area they are actually smart, right? So that's the purpose. Malaysian standard have created this indicator to check every aspect. Say, for example, are they supporting the citizens? Is it specifically for the waste management? Is it specific for traffic monitoring, right? Flood detection. So there are various indicators to know, to gauge the level of smartness of the city. It's not to say that, if you don't fulfill that particular indicator, they are not a smart city. Different smart cities has different goals, different approaches. So this is the indicator just to measure how much they have implemented. And it's a strategic implementation plan which they can follow throughout so that they achieve, the highest level of those indicators that have been assigned. Now, similarly, we are also, creating new standards for smart cities. Creating a smart city framework, which, could assist in the development of smart cities. Some smart cities, when they start developing, they don't know where to refer to. They don't know what document they need to refer, and all those things. So that's the reason why we're coming up with the smart city framework, which could assist for all newly adopters of smart cities, right? So they can see, okay, this is the framework they need to refer to. This is the ICT standards they refer to. What are the component of the smart city they need to look into, and so on. So this will provide those information for early adopters, for new adopters.
It's good that you mentioned just now about the smartness and, as indicator, an indicator needs to be measured. And for us to measure, we need to collect data. So data is very important in smart cities. Whenever you want to tell the health of the person, you normally have sensors that collect all this data. So it's the same thing with smart cities. This data is from everywhere. And it comes from many sources of data, many devices. It's very complex for many people who don't understand where they can get this data. And it's important for them to also ensure that this data to be in very, in integrated manner. So how do you see an IoT platform plays this particular role? And you see, like, even Favoriot for yourself, Favoriot, how do you play that particular role in having that integrated IoT platform?
Yes, Doc. I think you correctly pointed out in terms of data integration. See, everything boils down in smart city. Everything boils down to data. So, what type of data you are collecting, and so on. Now, imagine that you have 10 solutions, and each of the solutions uses different infrastructure. It makes it difficult in the end to correlate the data. Right? It's not impossible. It's just make it so much difficult. So you need to extract data from one solution, and then you need to extract data from another solution, and then you need to correlate the data to better understand and provide better analysis of the smart city solutions. Now, the easiest or the best solution would be having one common smart city platform, right? So like Favoriot IoT platform or Favoriot smart city platform. The purpose here is that so that you can integrate all the different solutions in one location, and you can extract the data, you can analyze the data easier. On top of that, you can also reduce the cost of infrastructure in the long run. So instead of you having say, for example, one infrastructure for one solution, you only need one smart city platform for all the various solutions. And on top of that, the platform can also support various communication protocols. So you don't have to worry about, you need to have a data translation, protocol translation, and all those things. Everything is handled by a smart city platform. And in many countries, that's what they have been doing. Provide a common platform so that it will be easy for further implementation, easy for development of new applications, and it could also, bring about new innovation actually. So having a common platform is an integral part of a smart city, and it is a must-have, if you ask me.
Other than make it easy and becoming more creative in blending all this data together, and also make it easy to display that kind of data, what is the implication in terms of cost of doing this kind of integrating this platform?
Yeah, so as I mentioned just now, there are two parts I would say. The one is the cost, infrastructure cost, right? So instead of us having multiple solutions, multiple infrastructure for different solutions, we only have one common infrastructure for the platform. Other costs that would involve usually is that, how would the data, the communication from various communication protocols will be translated. But this is part of the platform. It is a job of the platform, right? So there are not major costs involved in here. It is just that the platform would be scalable in the future. Say, for example, if you have a certain limit of storage right now, and if you integrate, say, for example, new applications which require more data storage and so on, you can just scale it up. So it's easy to scale it up. So the cost involved initially is just one common platform cost. It's something like a cloud subscription cost. Instead of us having, 10 different cloud subscription for 10 different smart city solutions.
Okay, thank you. And we also see that people have been talking very much about smart cities. You need sensors, you need networks to be there. You need IoT platform to aggregate the data. You need analytics to analyze the data. But a lot of times we seem to forget about one more important component. In this case, I'd like to see, how do you perceive security in smart cities?
Oh, I actually talk about security is actually a common issue for any IT technology, a smart city, be the Internet of Things, and so on. In fact, Internet of Things, like IoT solutions, is part of smart cities. And we have seen so many issues with the devices not properly secured. Right, so the major one is this Mirai botnet attack, the Repex attack, which they actually they compromise all the IoT devices and they launch a DDoS attack from there. Now, security is important at every level, from the device level, which sends the data, to the communication level, to the platform layer, and also the application layer. And on top of that, we have seen, smart city is actually a very complex thing because there is an integration, vertical integration, there's a regulatory policies and so on. So we need to ensure from the start that a proper security mechanism be in place from the device level up to the application layer. Otherwise, what will happen is that we would see, more data to be compromised. And we are talking about not various types of data. We have citizens' data, we have a public data, and so on. And people will use it for their own benefits. They will use the devices for DDoS attack, devices to be hijacked, and so in some cases there'll be, man in the middle attack and so on. So it is important, as I said, when we want to start a smart city project, security must be in place from the start. There's no compromise for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that most of us are so excited about building security, having cameras for safety purpose, but they tend to forget about the security of the whole infrastructure themselves. And you are right to mention that a security have to be put in place in the beginning of the whole planning part. It is not something afterthought. So
I just want to add on that actually though. One of the issue is that people buy this off the shelf, cameras, CCTV cameras, the devices, they don't change the password. And there are actually websites that actually look all the CCTV cameras all around the world, and they do a live streaming of those using a default password. So it's bad because they actually, invading the privacy of individuals, right? So if a smart city, a solution does not even take care of a simple thing of changing the password, then it's bad for the smart city itself.
You're right. I think that's the very, very basic fundamental at which people always forget. So it's great talking to you, Dr. Gopinath, having a chat today for my ICSC, because we have been covering a lot about topics about the standards of smart cities, how important is an IoT platform is, how we can reduce the cost of having a single platform and making it more creative for people to build their own applications, and how important is security themselves. So I would like to say thank you once again for having this chat for this morning. So hopefully we'll see again and having a different topic altogether. Thank you very much, Dr. Gopinath.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. My pleasure.
Bye.